Welcome to CBN4's Primetime News Package for today. I'm your presenter, Alian Christopher. First up today, the government of Dominica has appointed Mr. Nuri Katz as resident ambassador to the Russian Federation in its quest to fully establish a diplomatic presence in Russia and further develop the bilateral relations that exist between the two countries. The government of Dominica has received agreement from the Russian authorities for Katz's appointment, and he will formally commence his duties as ambassador of Dominica following the presentation of his credentials to the head of state of the Russian Federation. Marisa Stedman has more details.
The Commonwealth of Dominica established diplomatic relations with the Russian Federation almost 22 years ago on May 19, 1995, and became the first Western country to recognize Russian sovereignty following the collapse of the Soviet Union. The government of Dominica has reaffirmed its commitment to continued collaboration with the Russian Federation to develop initiatives related to the common aspiration of all peoples. From 1995, the two countries have enjoyed a meaningful partnership promoting mutual cooperation at the level of both bilateral and multilateral relations. This has been beneficial to the Commonwealth of Dominica in a variety of sectors, including human resource development and health. Post-Hurricane Maria, the Russian Federation's provision of humanitarian assistance to the Commonwealth of Dominica included generators, building materials, food, and other supplies. Mr. Nuri Katz is a graduate of the McGill University in Montreal and holds a bachelor's degree in international relations with a minor in Russian language. He is the founding member of a number of businesses in Canada, Russia, and Ukraine. Mr. Katz is a special advisor to the Honorable Prime Minister of Dominica on matters pertaining to the Russian Federation. As ambassador of Dominica to the Russian Federation, Mr. Nuri Katz will work closely with the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs to ensure effective implementation of Dominica's foreign policy with regard to the Russian Federation. Additionally, the ambassador-designate will be charged with the responsibility of representing Dominica's interests as well as the interests of Dominican nationals residing in the Russian Federation. The Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs welcomes this appointment and looks forward to working with Ambassador-designate Mr. Nuri Katz. Marisa Stedman, CBN4 News.
Executive Director of the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, Craig Nesty, says the NTRC has been getting a lot of complaints, though not presented in a formal or structured manner. The Executive Director affirmed that it is very difficult for the NTRC to act on these complaints. He said that some of the complaints brought in to the NTRC are that of the data usage. Persons have been complaining regularly about their data quickly eroding from both sides of the telecommunication service providers here on the island. Nesty acknowledged that using data as a substitute for Wi-Fi is very costly, and most persons find it insanely expensive and unsustainable.
Calling from one provider to another provider, what we call off-net calling. So if you're a Digi customer, calling a Lime customer is a problem. If you're a Lime customer, calling a Digi customer was a problem. Yeah, those are basically some of the complaints we've been getting. And internet speeds, the downloads taking forever to download. Sometimes they have to try 3, 4, 5 times to download an article or video. So there's a lot of repeat packets being downloaded, which consumes the metered service because the data is allocated in terms of specific quantities. So if you're downloading the same thing 6 times to get that end result, then you're paying at least 3, 4 times more than you would normally pay to download that content. So it's very problematic.
As stated by Nesty, what's available to customers is something called a dispute resolution. The dispute resolution gives the customers a chance to try and solve any issues with their service providers in good faith with the telecom provider for at least 30 days. He said that if after 30 days the customer does not get the sort of resolution that they expected, the customer must now file an official complaint showing that they tried to solve the issue in good faith with the provider. He said That is where the NTRC comes in. Antrim Road has been a cause for concern for many years, since it is evident that the road is sinking. In an effort to facilitate easier access for road construction, MP for the St. Joseph constituency, Kelva Daru, revealed plans to start road rehabilitation from Ponkase to Warner Junction. Daru explained that the present state of the Antrim Road has increased the government's desire to repair all the road access areas to decrease the level of traffic on the Antrim Road.
As we are aware, because of the nature of the disaster, we had to do several interventions to ensure that, one, for road safety, and also to facilitate certain areas that were severely destroyed. We have a situation currently where we have some issues with the Antrim Road, and one of the recommendations that we received was to do a section of the road from Ponkase all the way back to the Warner Junction to facilitate the heavy flow of traffic from the east of the island through that area, so that we have less traffic moving through the Antrim area until we're able, or better able, to deal with the Antrim situation. So the Ministry of Public Works under the new Minister, Honorable Dr. McIntyre, and also the Prime Minister, they've given the commitment that we will have that section of the road completely resurfaced from Ponkase back to Salton, the Salton Warner Junction, and we would utilize that road for the traffic flowing from the east of the island.
The MP notes that commuters and residents alike are dissatisfied with the deplorable conditions of the road. However, the minister admits that the damage incurred as a result of Hurricane Maria has made the task even more daunting.
What you will find is that it will improve road access and also the safety of users on that road, and give the government some time as well to come up with a very feasible plan for the rehabilitation of the Antrim area. And so it is something that we're looking forward to, and once that is completed, we will see a heavy flow of traffic through that area. And of course, I believe that it will facilitate the commuters from the East Coast in a very timely fashion in getting to town, and also addressing some of the challenges that we face in the Antrim area.
The minister added that the Layo Valley Road is also being evaluated to assess the level of damage since Hurricane Maria. Plans to construct this road will be made available when all the necessary steps have been agreed upon. And stay tuned, we'll be back with more news right after this break.
If you're HIV positive or have an STI, having unprotected sex with multiple partners puts them in grave danger. You'll expose every partner and their present and future partners to HIV or another STI. Use a condom every time you have sex. You can live a productive life even if diagnosed with HIV. Remember, early detection is key to your survival. Be responsible, protect yourself and others. Help stop the spread of HIV and other STIs.
TB estene e ben tout se, moun ki en bonne santé oli wen ka respire se vemin lan. Moun ki pani bon tempérament kon sa ki ni maladi HIV, alcool, ka fime, ti mamay e gwa moun bien sensible pour ces maladies sa la. Moun ki ka tousse ni pou pran précaution le yo en parmi moun en place publique. Couvre bouche ou le ou ka estene ka tousse. Visite docteur e ben place santé ou. Fini tout traitement yo ba ou sa jwen guérison et puis maladie TB. En responsabilité ou, aider du bout sime maladie TB et HIV. Protéger corps et les autres.
There are signs everywhere. Pay attention whether you're male or female. Visit your health center to get screened. It's a preliminary test to determine if you are exposed to the HIV virus, an STI, or tuberculosis. Some people who are HIV positive also have tuberculosis. But there's hope. Tuberculosis can be cured. And yes, you can live a full life with HIV. Talk to your doctor. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB, HIV. Encourage everyone to get tested.
L'année sim tout partout. Attention si vous êtes homme et bien femme. Visitez place santé pour examiner corps. Ça c'est un nid pour yo ouais si l'année pièce moun au lion qui ni maladie TB et bien maladie sexuelle. En compagnie moun qui ni maladie HIV pe ni TB aussi. Savent qui l'année guérison pour TB. Ou ça vivre en bonne santé même si ou ni maladie HIV. Parlez by docteur ou. Prends responsabilité ou. Aidez du bout si maladie TB et HIV. Ou agir tout le monde pour examiner corps yo.
And welcome back to CBN4's Primetime News. The Concerned Citizen Movement will be hosting a national consultation on the need for electoral reform in Dominica on Tuesday, 24th April 2018 at the Goodwill Parish Hall. The consultation will bring into sharp focus the recommendations made by the Organization of the American States and the Commonwealth Secretariat, time and time again, in order that best practices are adhered to with all aspects of Dominica's electoral systems, and will be seeking to charter a way forward as to the elements which will add value and create a more level electoral system in Dominica, there safeguarding the principle of a true and vibrant democracy. Fernie James has more on the Concerned Citizen Movement's national consultation.
During 2018, the Concerned Citizens Movement has been focused on active advocacy for comprehensive electoral reform before the next general election and subsequent elections, and have already and will continue to undertake various activities in this regard. Activities will include building awareness about electoral reform in communities across Dominica and building partnerships and awareness in the international community about the indispensable value of electoral reform in Dominica, which is long overdue. Regarding the program of Concerned Citizens for 2018, President Loftus-Dura has stated the implementation of complete electoral reform has been on the cards for some time now, and therefore we see the need to give this aspect of our electoral process the necessary publicity and, more importantly, the teeth that it truly deserves. In that, once implemented, the citizenry of Dominica will now be able to enjoy the benefits of being part of a true democracy. A number of stakeholders have been invited to participate in this discussion, and they include the chairman of the Electoral Commission, the Dominica Labour Party, the Dominica Freedom Party, the United Workers Party, the People's Party of Dominica, the Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association, Dominica Association of Evangelical Churches, Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce, Dominica Trade Union, Dominica Teachers Association, Dominica Bar Association, Dominica Public Service Union, Builders and Contractors Association of Dominica, Waterfront and Allied Workers Union, Police Welfare Association, National Youth Council, the Calinego Chief, Mr. Charles Williams, We Are Dominica, Christian Council of Churches. This event is expected to begin at 10 a.m. at the Goodwill Parish Hall. Fernie James reporting for CBN4.
One taxi operator is of the notion that Dominica is in no way ready for a tourist season simply because of poor road conditions. He explained that nothing is being done with the additional tax paid on the licenses set for road rehabilitation.
The reason why I say that is if you go now to the traffic department, when you go now to the traffic department, they ask you to pay a certain percentage on your license. They say that's to fix the road. We don't see nothing being done at all. Nothing is being done at all. If they do a little patching up in the road with a little cement or concrete, whatever you want to call it, time the rain falls for 2 days, the concrete is back out. The only time I see what road is being fixed is when the election is close to.
How long have you been doing taxi?
Let's say about 7 years.
And throughout those years, your impression of our roadway?
It decreased. It decreased after Erica, and it decreased more after Hurricane Maria.
So what are you saying? What are you telling the officials?
We need to do something about it, especially in areas where the taxi men go that are dangerous for the tourists. We need to do something about it. We need to fix our roads.
And also in the news, the Dominica Library and Information Service has received a donation of 2,131 books from Book Aid International to support public library services with restocking after the passage of Hurricane Maria. Book Aid International is the UK's leading book donation and library development charity and has worked in partnership with library services for over 60 years.
Book Aid provides books, resources and training that have supported millions of people with the resources they need to develop their skills and read for pleasure, from children to adults, students and professionals, farmers and medical staff. The charity is funded entirely through the support of individual donors, trusts, foundations and corporate supporters, with their work supported by committed volunteers who hold fundraisers in their local communities.
The chief librarian also indicated that the donation of books to Dominica by Book Aid International caters for everyone.
The donation includes children's picture and storybooks, teenage and adult fiction for leisure reading, primary and secondary school texts, and books that support further education, teacher training, and reference services.
The Dominica Library and Information Service and Book Aid International recently signed a partnership agreement on January 5, 2018, with the aim to work together to provide appropriate books for public libraries within Dominica and to support an environment in which reading for pleasure, study and lifelong learning can flourish post-Hurricane Maria. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development, Mrs. Chandler Hyacinth, welcomes the donation and states that even with the challenges faced post-Maria, the library services continue to play a major role in promoting the acquisition of knowledge in Dominica. The Chief Librarian thanks Book Aid for committing to assist the Dominica Library and Information Service to restock and said that the books are being processed with immediate circulation. The books are expected to be available for users and members at all public libraries. That includes the Roseau Public Library, now located at the National Documentation Center building, Portsmouth Mobile Library serving from Bay Street in Portsmouth, Marigot Library, upstairs the pharmacy in Wales, and the Grand Bay Branch Library at the Grand Bay Community Center. And stay tuned, we'll be back with more after the break.
If you're HIV positive or have an STI, having unprotected sex with multiple partners puts them in grave danger. You'll expose every partner and their present and future partners to HIV or another STI. Use a condom every time you have sex. You can live a productive life even if diagnosed with HIV. Remember, early detection is key to your survival. Be responsible, protect yourself and others. Help stop the spread of HIV and other STIs.
estene e ben tout se, moun ki en bonne santé oli ouen ka respire se vermine lan. Moun ki pani bon tempérament kon sa ki ni maladie HIV, alcool, ka fime, ti mamay e grand moun bien sensible pour ces maladies ça là. Moun ki ka tousse ni pou prendre précaution le yo en parmi moun en place publique, couvert bouche ou le ka estene et tousse. Visitez docteur et ben place santé. Fini tout traitement yo ba ou sa joine guérison et puis maladie TB. En responsabilité ou aider du bout si men maladie TB et HIV, protéger corps et les autres.
There are signs everywhere. Pay attention whether you're male or female. Visit your health center to get screened. It's a preliminary test to determine if you are exposed to the HIV virus, an STI, or tuberculosis. Some people who are HIV positive also have tuberculosis. But there's hope. Tuberculosis can be cured. And yes, you can live a full life with HIV. Talk to your doctor. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB, HIV. Encourage everyone to get tested.
And welcome back to CBN4's Primetime News, and now with news from around the region. With no clear date set for the 2018 general election in Barbados, constitutionally mandated to be held this year, there is a general understanding that, as stated, the elections being constitutionally mandated, there must be an election unless there is some overwhelming national security interest that would prevent one taking place. Parliament was automatically dissolved on March 6, 2018. The Constitution of Barbados provides that elections must be called within 90 days after the House's dissolution, which means that there is a window until June 6, 2018 for elections to take place. Prime Minister Fruendel Stewart has already gone on record in stating that he will call a date for the elections very, very soon. Russia joined a chorus of voices urging U.S. President Donald Trump to stand by the Iran nuclear deal, as Tehran sent a stern warning that it was an all-or-nothing situation. During his election campaign, Trump vowed to rip up the landmark deal, which obliges Iran to limit its nuclear program in exchange for the suspension of economic sanctions. Now, Trump is threatening to reject an extension of the agreement by a May 12th deadline. Russia is consistent in its position on keeping the so-called Iran deal viable, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told journalists, adding there was no alternative to the deal. Peskov spoke as French President Emmanuel Macron was en route to Washington, where he is expected to try to convince Trump of the agreement's merits. German Chancellor Angela Merkel is also expected to make a trip this week with the same mission. And South African President Cyril Ramaphosa on Friday returned early from a summit in London to rush to the scene of violent demonstrations in Northwest Province, where at least 23 people have been arrested. Ramaphosa, who took power in February, expressed serious concern over the clashes between the police and protesters and called for calm as he faced one of the first major challenges of his presidency. Violent protests are common in South Africa, but Northwest Province has been a hotbed of unrest due to boiling frustration over lack of housing, health, services and jobs. Ramaphosa called in a statement for all aggrieved parties to express their grievances through peaceful means and engagement rather than violence and anarchy. He also urged security forces to exercise maximum restraint. Local media said one person was thought to have died in the demonstrations which erupted earlier this week. The trigger for the unrest was reportedly the death on Tuesday of 2 patients at a health clinic that was closed due to a month-long dispute over health workers' salaries and contracts. And that's how we come to the end of today's Primetime News package. I am Alian Christopher on behalf of the entire CBN4 team saying thank you for watching, and do join us again next time.